door would be a request to pay a debt she could not meet. He had never lied to her, so far as she was aware, never drank too much, never embarrassed her in public, and certainly had never been unfaithful. She sometimes thought she might have understood if he had been, possibly even forgiven him for it. It would have shown a quality of passion she had never felt him to possess. Instead of admiring his rigid tidiness, it infuriated her. He folded everything, even the discarded newspaper, matching the corners exactly. He put everything away where it belonged as soon as he finished using it. But that was a self-defeating argument. If he had understood passion and loneliness, the same desperate hunger for warmth, then she might have loved him, despite everything else. She had tried to love him. But here they were. At least she could behave with gratitude. She would do her part this evening. She would be gracious to the Foxleys and the Crostwicks, the Halversgates and the Giffords, and everyone else it was necessary to please. They alighted at the entrance to the Giffords' magnificent house. Forbes and Una Gifford were wealthy enough to entertain in the most lavish style, and seating 30 to dinner was no effort to their staff. Claudine and Wallace were welcomed into the hall, relieved of their outer clothing, and shown into the first of the large reception rooms. They had timed it perfectly. Not the last to arrive, which would be slightly ill-mannered or self-important, but very far from the first, which made one appear over-eager. Una was Forbes's second wife, his first having died some 10 years earlier. No one knew where Una had lived before their marriage, and she never mentioned it, which was an interesting omission. She was very striking to look at, some might say truly beautiful. She came toward Wallace and Claudine now, her dark hair swept up luxuriantly, and her slender gown the height of fashion. Wide crinolines were suddenly out. No one with the slightest pretensions to style would be seen in one. "Delightful of you to come," Una said with a smile. "Thank you so much. In spite of the clemency of the weather, Christmas will be upon us before we know it. Let us begin to celebrate as soon as we can, I say."
"Indeed,"
Wallace agreed, forcing a warmth Claudine knew he did not mean.
"What better way to begin the season?"
He spotted Nigel Haversgate and moved toward him, realizing Nigel was standing with his wife Charlotte, known as Tolly, only when it was too late to change course. Una saw what had happened and shot a surprisingly candid look of amusement at Claudine. "Beginning to gain the Christmas spirit, I see," Una said ambiguously. "Such a party is definitely the best place to do so," Claudine replied, equally ambiguously. She was thinking of the discipline it took to be agreeable to a number of people she did not know very well or especially care for, but she certainly would not say so aloud. "Goodwill to all men," Una murmured under her breath. She sighed. "And women." Lifting her chin a little, she turned as Euphemia Crosswick approached, a delicately blonde woman whose pretty face was always at attention, looking this way and that to be sure she missed nothing. "I'm sure you know Mrs. Burroughs," Una said, motioning towards Claudine. "Of course." Eppie Crosswick smiled brightly. She looked up and down at Claudine's dress. It was a very handsome one, but it certainly would have overwhelmed her own diminutive figure, and its dramatic colouring would have bleached her skin. "It seems like ages since we last met," she added, letting the underlying meaning hang in the air. "Indeed," Claudine inclined her head, her good intentions already vanished. "So much has happened, but surely it is one of the pleasures of life to be busy, don't you think?" Eppie's eyes widened. "I had no idea you were busy. Your charities, no doubt. You must tell me all about it." She waved her hand delicately. "Sometime." "Of course," Claudine agreed. "I should be happy to. However, this is an evening to celebrate our own good fortune, rather than commiserate about the tragedies of others." Eppie gave a sigh of relief, which was only a trifle forced. "I'm sure you'd love to meet some of the other people here. You know Verena Foxley, of course. Such a good-looking boy, Creighton, don't you think?" They all looked over at the Foxleys. Claudine did agree that Creighton